Hey guys, what's up? This is Diego here at Cinemageddon Reviews. So first off, take it in. I got a brand new setup. I know I've been moving around a lot over the past few videos. The reason for that is I was getting a new desk. Before I was just doing videos on this stupid little table that was kind of wobbly, but this is going to be a lot more permanent, it's a lot more stable, and I just like the way it feels. So you'll probably see a lot more videos like this. So here's a review that you probably didn't expect. It's Transformers, the 2007 movie, directed by Michael Bay. Anyway, this is a movie that I have reviewed before, back when Cinemageddon Reviews was just a Facebook page. The reason I'm doing it in video form now is because they just announced a sixth Transformers movie called Rise of the Beasts. It's going to be released next year. This new one is going to be directed by Stephen Caple Jr., the guy who directed Creed 2, one of my favorite movies of 2018. And there's no telling yet whether or not it's going to follow the chronological movies directed by Michael Bay, or if it's going to follow the reboot of the franchise that Bumblebee was. I guess we'll find out, but until then, I'm going to be reviewing all 6 of the live-action films that we have right now. And with that said, let's kick it off with the movie that started it all. But of course, before we go on, I want to say that this is going to contain heavy spoilers. This film has been out for almost 15 years now, so if you haven't seen the film, you don't want to be spoiled, leave the video right now. Just had to get that out of the way. Okay, here we go. So let's go back real quick to 2006. Steven Spielberg and Michael Bay announced that they were working on a live-action Transformers movie, and it was a decision that made a lot of fans of Transformers very nervous. They thought, oh great, here comes Hollywood again, ready to shit on our childhoods for those dollars and cents. I didn't share that feeling because I didn't grow up with Transformers, the cartoon or the toys. In fact, my first exposure to Transformers before this movie came out was commercials for the Beast Wars toys in between episodes of Tom and Jerry. That's about as nostalgic as I get with Transformers. But I distinctly remember being blown away when that first teaser trailer hit the internet, as well as the other 2 trailers that this movie had. I kind of wish that more movies nowadays had trailers this good. Needless to say, those trailers did win a lot of people over, and we all knew that this was going to be huge. It had a lot of big names attached, not the least of which was Michael Bay. And it's pretty safe to say that people are pretty evenly divided on this movie nowadays. Some people hate it with every fiber of their being. They think it's a giant insult to their childhoods, like every internet hater exaggerates. But some people love it, and I'm on the side of people that loves it, despite the obvious glaring flaws that it has. We'll get to those in a second. The biggest positive by far with Transformers is Megan Fox. I mean, isn't it obvious?
I like to go faster.
No, but the real biggest positive of this movie is that this is the one that actually tried to give us something to care about. It actually attempted to have a coherent storyline. The highlight of this movie was absolutely Shia LaBeouf and his relationship with Bumblebee. Shia felt like a real, relatable, awkward kid in this movie who met an unconventional best friend and was just fighting really hard to save him. And it leads to some of the more emotionally heavy moments in the film. And there are action scenes involving Bumblebee that felt a lot more intense because you were worried that he might not survive. This is something that was seriously lacking in the other Transformers movies, but we'll get to those in time. One of the things that was the most clever about this movie was how Michael Bay uses scale to make the action more exciting. You can see it in this one scene in the third act. Sam is hiding from Megatron on the ledge of this building, and the tension in this scene had me just like on the edge of my seat. You felt just as helpless as Sam did. Of course, all the action involving the Transformers is spectacular. We all know that the third act is just pure eye candy. Watching giant CGI monsters fight each other and rip the shit out of each other is never not going to be fun, especially if it's slow motion acting directed by Michael Bay. By the way, are you guys getting annoyed every time I say his name? Because over the course of this series, I'm going to be saying it a lot. Anyway, that's not to say that there aren't good things taking place outside of the action. For example, there are quite a few scenes in the first and second act that add like this aura of, I want to say, existential terror. There's this notion that this movie's trying to establish that these are like mysterious creatures from another planet that might be dangerous, might not be, they might be on our side, they might not, and it's that discovering which ones are which that adds to like the mystery and the suspense. Also, Megan Fox is in this movie, and that adds a lot to the story too. And that's about it. There are also a lot of perfectly valid reasons to dislike this movie. For example, I mentioned Megan Fox just now. Her acting is not the best. She did improve in the second movie, but that's a review for another day. Additionally, the humor in this movie is seriously lacking in the true style of Michael Bay.
No! This is repression, what you're doing here. You're ruining my youth, okay?
For Pete's sakes, you are so defensive. Were you masturbating?
Judy. Was I No, Mom!
I guess you could say that wasn't the explosion you were expecting. But seriously, there are quite a few scenes that play on this childish, crude, overly sexual humor, and I'm not going to mention any because you already got the point with my incredibly stupid joke. But thankfully, though, it isn't anywhere near as bad or as oftenly used as it is in the next movie. Because mark my words, this is very far from the last time we'll ever see this type of humor. Very far. Very, very, very far. But probably the biggest negative this movie has is that it just has way too many human characters. You could have just easily removed the subplot with Anthony Anderson and Rachel Taylor and just focus on Shia LaBeouf and Josh Duhamel because those were two very superior characters and just left it at that. The two most developed Transformers in the movie are Bumblebee and Frenzy. That's right, Frenzy is significantly more developed than Optimus Prime and Megatron. Now look, we all know that Optimus Prime is awesome and Megatron is awesome and we love them both, and we know that they have this rich history going back to Cybertron and Megatron following the Allspark to Earth, but we feel more intimidated by Frenzy because we actually see him doing stuff. We feel more connected to Bumblebee because we actually see him spending time with Sam and we're watching how that friendship develops. And it doesn't rely on Optimus's exposition and him just telling us stuff about Megatron and Cybertron. Now look, I could listen to a monologue by Peter Cullen any day of the week. He has a great voice, he's an awesome Optimus Prime. There's a reason that they haven't replaced him after all these years. But you gotta give us more reason to care about the conflict, and more time for the Transformers to all shine on screen. I didn't care about Megatron at all in this movie. He did bad things, he played around with like a human, he like flicked him off of his hand, he killed Jazz. We don't feel any connection to that human or to Jazz or to anything that he does because the movie never spends any time developing him. We were honestly more scared of Barricade, and that guy just up and disappears from the movie in the third act, and he doesn't show up again until the third movie, but we'll get to that eventually. In the meantime, Transformers is not a perfect movie. It's entertaining, and of course, Michael Bay. I enjoy this movie a lot, despite the obvious flaws that it has and everything I just said. I also have a bit of a sentimental attachment to this movie too. It introduced me to my favorite band, Linkin Park. Their song, What I've Done, plays over the end credits, and it's been my favorite song ever since. I don't know how much my nostalgia blinds me on this one, but this is just my honest opinion. My rating for Transformers is 7 out of 10. You can disagree with me. This is the internet. I'm just giving you my honest thoughts, and it might be biased, and my opinion might change over the next few years, but maybe it won't. We'll see. All I know is Megan Fox. And, yeah, that's all the argument I need. I honestly, I could have just left this review at that, come to think of it. Anyway, the next movie in my Transformers series is for Revenge of the Fallen, or as I like to call it, Revenge of John Turturro's Jockstrap. It's going to be a difficult one to rewatch, I'll tell you, but doing the review is going to be a lot of fun. And I'm looking forward to giving you guys my thoughts on that. In any case, please let me know your thoughts on the first Transformers in the comments. Do you like it or do you hate it? And as always, be sure to like and subscribe, and don't forget to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, all that good stuff. And please support us on Patreon so you can get your exclusive rewards and bonus content just for you. Thank you guys so much for watching. This is Diego for Cinemageddon Reviews, and I'll see you on the Wasteland.